Welcome back to another episode of Master Duel. We're going to talk about a Numeron deck. This is the Numeron FTK with some follow-up play in case you don't end up FTKing people or in case you end up going first. Standard Numeron cards, standard hand traps. Lava Golem I would consider running 3 just because of how good it is. It's very good for those boards that have like 3 or 4 monsters like the Baron LaFleur deck. The Tri-Brigade Lurelist I run into a lot. I try running Raw Sphere mode, it just ends up bricking a lot on other decks, so I don't really like Raw. I run Card Destruction. That's just so I can see what my opponent is using, but realistically you want to run more reloads and hammers so you don't accidentally discard Numeron Network and Numeron Calling, which are your kill cards. I have 2 copies of every one of the of all the Numeron 1 to 4, and then the C1 for the burn damage to finish the opponent off, but I find this very inconsistent. I'm running 13 extra deck monsters just because it's because DD Dynamite's still running around. I haven't seen as much, but there's a lot more. I haven't really seen the DD Dynamite going around. I'm actually trying to copy it to use for those solo modes. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, awesome card. It's very good for those. It's very good for those things like Darklords. I actually end up fighting a Darklord with this once, and beating them. Infinitrack is a good option. After you hit them with the 4 Numeron, you can go into Infinitracks instead of this guy. Infinitracks with the 4K attack is actually very annoying for a lot of decks to deal with. Like Eldritch is one. Eldritch has it hard hitting over 4K. I ran into a Dragonmaid, which is funny because they can't out the Megaclops. Same thing with Drytron. If you're able to get this on the field, Drytron just can't really come back. On the other hand, most Drytron players don't really get past the first turn because they either win on the first turn or they don't know how to play the rest of the deck. But anyways, we're gonna try and pick some fights that are longer, that I think are pretty funny. Let me see. I think there was this one. I'm gonna play the games that last longer than 2 turns because Numeron FTK everybody sees. That or like either bricked, or it's hard to brick with this, but it is possible. Or alternatively, my opponent sets up an unbreakable board. So I'll skip the 2-turn games. This opponent is Drytron, so I believe this is the one where I get the Mega Clops out on the Drytron. I'm gonna speed this up. Not sure what he's doing. Normally you don't go moves for the Drytron move that early, but it is what it is. They're going for a really quick Herald, I guess. And I have no hand traps, so basically I'm watching him do all this, and I'm just like, well, you know what? If you get the Herald out, I'm gonna Kaiju it, and then I'm gonna go into the Numerons and run the Kaiju and probably win, depending on how many monsters he has left on the field afterwards. So goes to the Beatrix. And she actually doesn't like end here, so it's weird. She doesn't end on a Herald here, which was weird. But there's the Eva. He has Herald Orange Light on hand. So I believe I tried to bait out the Herald here, and instead I baited into a Call by the Grave, which was weird, but okay, it is what it is. I can probably go Pot of Desires and try to bait out some other stuff to see what else he has, but I think the Herald Orange Light only stops monster effects. Anyways, so I'm just gonna go for here. I didn't hit the Kaiju because I'm worried that because first of all I know I can't kill him because he has Herald Orange Light on his hand. And the other thing is, I'm saving the Kaiju for Herald if he comes out with Herald Ultimateness later on. I can barely kill the Beatrix, and I realize here that actually I can't even go into I can't even go into Underworld Goddess because I lost one. So I go into the Mega Clops here. And at this point, it was like, that's when I kind of realized, actually it doesn't matter if he gets Herald out anymore, because Drytron really has no way of outing him, because he's unaffected by any cards that aren't Exceed, and can't be destroyed by things that are not Exceed. So I know Drytron's not really running any like big damage or affect Exceed monster other than Moo. So yeah, basically here is just like, you do you. Unfortunately, the problem with Numerons though is, once you have a monster on the field, you can't do anything. So realistically, I got one guy on the field and I can't do anything. So he goes here, can't spin me back, so he spins the network back, and then he goes into the access code here, and I'm like, oh shit, I thought I was gonna die. Nope. I survived that because I can't be killed by link monsters. So I kaiju the access code, and at this point I'm like, okay, I'm 100% sure you're screwed. At this point, it's just a matter of like, it's just a matter of me running you down. Drytron definitely doesn't run Infinitrax, so I mean Drytron's not running Impermanence or any kind of like negate, because Drytron is all the negates. And you can't Veiler me on your own turn. So I was like, how is he gonna out me here? He actually goes into Zeus, which is not what I was expecting. So I was like, oh crap, he actually has a Zeus, and Zeus's ability is able to out the Megaclops. I'm trying to bait out the Megaclops ability here, or I was trying to bait out the Zeus ability here, which I did. Which was interesting, because if he let me get the ability off and I get the feel, it doesn't do anything. I still have to find a kaiju for the Zeus. So I get the Numeron network out here, and he already used his guy, so I win with 700 life points left. So if he actually didn't use his ability until I actually get the network out, it's a different story. And he can use the ability right before I turn him into Underworld Goddess. So that was a misplay by my opponent there, but very lucky game here. It's a 6-turn game, or 4-turn game is interesting. It's just a lot of like follow-up, what to do after you fail the Numeron FTK, or you can't do the Numeron FTK for whatever reason. So like Megaclops actually comes out very handy. I believe this one is Darklord's, and it's funny because I showed her who the real Underworld Goddess is. My opponent here runs 2 Call by the Graves, which is kind of like a, wait, what the hell? But it is what it is. Like, first turn double Call by the Grave. Like, I'm just trying to get my card here, and I'm like, okay, double Call by the Grave, what the heck? I mean, it is what it is. He kind of passed his first turn, and I'm going for a network here, and I couldn't find it. And both the other cards I'm holding are Call by'd, so they have no effect. Comes out with Virtual Whirl. At this point, I think I draw into the Lightning Storm, and that just kills him. At that point, I think my opponent would have surrendered. That, or he actually gives me the courtesy of actually letting me hit him. But this part, where you're placing the 4 Numerons, huge pain in the ass. They should really let you just like check it and then play all 4 at the same time. I mean, at that point, you already let me do the 4K, so you might as well let me hit the last 4K so you get points for summoning. But anyways. I believe this next one is the Darklord one. The link options are very interesting. I mean, technically I can run access code here as well, and then I can just go into access code after I hit. But then the problem with going to access code is I'm not really gonna run access code on this deck for 2 reasons. One is I don't have any link 3. I mean, I technically can run a link 3 and then do a link 4 into access code, so I have the 5300 attack. But the other thing is, I don't have a lot of monsters I can use with the access code's attack. with the access code popping, right? Because then you need to pop link monsters in order to, you need to banish link monsters in order to pop stuff on the field. So that's the other reason why I don't run access code here. Probably something like Avermax or like Blackluster Soldier might be a good option. But anyways, I try to go for a Kaiju here because I can't kill him without it. So I go here with the Numeron Network. That was the reason why I was trying to change my hand. It's because I need to try and get a Kaiju. Here I only got like 6k damage. And here's where I make the mistake, because I don't believe I go into Mega Clops here. I believe I go into the... No, I do go into Mega Clops here. I think the reason I go into Mega Clops here is there was a game where I lost by going into C100, or C number 1. The one where it gives you burn damage on the way back. Because the problem is, it's very easy to out the Numeron Network. So even if he comes back, I don't do damage. And then you just got a 2,000 damage monster on the field that does nothing. And it prevents you from a follow-up Numeron play. So C100, unless you're sure your opponent has no magic card removal, is kind of bad. But anyways, so my opponent drops whatever he's got there, and it's like, okay, you don't have a way of outing the Mega Clops, so I'm just gonna hit him. Also, not only him not being able to out the Mega Clops naturally, I don't have a way of outing the Mega Clops either. So here, I believe he in-perms the Mega Clops and then runs it in with a effect, and that's how he kills it. But I do get the Numeron Network out next turn. So yeah, nice chain into the pop here. Pops my Mega Clops. I actually take a hit here, and at this point I need to draw into Numeron Network or I lose. Luckily, next turn I have I get one draw, and then I get a mulligan of 2 draws. I go into the card destruction here. The reason I did that, there's a reason why I did card destruction. It's to remove the Alistair in his hand. And then I Kaiju there to just in case, because that guy has a ability where if you special summon something, he gets the ability to pop your monster. So I had to pop him out. And then instead of just doing the run into him thing, I go for the Underworld Goddess and I just hit into the Alistair. The other reason for that is because Shaddoll Construct ability pops anything that's special summoned. So my options would have been yeah, after I Kaiju'd him, I would not have I would have 4k hitting into 4k hitting into 2300. So I would not be able to kill him without killing the Underworld Goddess. I mean, I would not be able to kill him without hitting into the constructs. So that's why I went for the Underworld Goddess. That was just a better way to secure the win versus actually hitting him with the 4 Numerons. Also, people don't really expect you to run Underworld Goddess. And realistically, she should have a better name. What the heck is Underworld Goddess, Goddess of the Closed World mean? Oh, this wasn't a decent one. Opponent plays Pachycephalus, Cephalio here. And my problem here is I messed up. Because you notice how it says if this card is flip summoned, and I imperm wrong, and that's how we lose. So I should have, if I infinite impermanence here, I would have won. But instead I realized, oh hey, that was a misplay, because apparently he locks me out of special summoning anyways. I thought that effect only happens if it's flip summoned. So the way this reads is effect 1, if this card is flip summoned, destroy all monsters on destroy all special summoned monsters. Effect 2, neither player can summon. So these are separate effects. But anyways, and realistically, I should have placed the infinite impermanence either here or here. And I placed the reload right there like a freaking idiot. Because I just infinite impermanence that slot. So now I gotta avoid this roll right here. And now I'm just gonna run into him. And he survives. By popping one of my other monsters. It actually got a lot closer than it needed to be. And realistically, if I pulled out Underworld Goddess on him, it would have been GG, because then he would not have any monsters that he can use. But, at any rate, I couldn't kill him, so I go into the Mega Clops here. Not a bad play per se, but it's a lot slower because my opponent can just keep playing crap in defense mode. And the other thing I realize is, well, you know, that happened. Which is weird because it's like, wait, what? I'm unaffected by other monster effects. I'm not unaffected by spells. He should not have activated a Dark Bribe there. You know, it just gives me the card. Which makes it here awkward for me here because I only carry 2 sets of Numerons here. So even with Numeron calling a second time, I probably can just hit him for 6k or hit him for 4k. And then I gotta go into a Link monster, either Appaloosa or Goddess. I believe I go with Goddess. But yeah, that fight ended a lot longer than it needed to. The good thing, the problem with going into Goddess, like, it's actually better to go into Underworld Goddess versus Appaloosa. Because if he draws something like an infinite impermanence, I'm completely wrecked. Because I have nothing that actually has damage other than Planet Pathfinder. I'm not about to grind him down for 1,000 a turn. So if that didn't happen, I would have lost. This 10 turn one is real crazy. I believe this is Dragonmaids. And it's 10 turns because I messed up. My opponent Prod of Prosperities, which makes me wonder what the hell? I thought he was playing Eldritch, and then I saw the Dragonmaids, and I was like, gonna play Dragonmaids and Pot of Prosperity? Okay, I mean, you can, but it's weird because he's only got 7 extra deck monsters at this point. So he goes into Striker Dragon, and then I max C, and he stops. And he just stops dead. I figured he would have not stopped dead. I figured he would have kept going. I was hoping he would do something or bring out a bigger monster. Anyways, at this point, I'm trying to look for a Kaiju. And I literally pulled the same cards I just shuffled. It's crazy. So it is what it is. I try to run into him for 6k. I believe he summons a monster here, so he doesn't get hit for 6k. Yeah, and then I hit him. I probably didn't need to Ash that, but it was kind of whatever. It's Dragonmaids. There isn't a lot of stuff I can Ash. I either Ash Kitchen or I Ash Chamber. It's one or the other. Probably better to Ash Chamber because I have to worry about. And that's really good that I didn't go into the Mega. Well, technically I can go into the Mega Clops and that wouldn't do anything to me. So actually, the only one that I didn't need, the only one that would kill me is Goddess. Anyways, so I go into Appaloosa here. Just because it's Dragonmaids, I was like, well, you know, Dragonmaids gonna be a bunch of effects. I'm gonna go into Appaloosa because if I go into one of my other 2 options, Goddess is gonna get popped by the ability. I don't think it's I think she's only immune to non-target. So if you got any kind of targeting effect, Goddess will get killed. And Megaclops is the other Megaclops the other option. But I didn't feel like I didn't feel like giving him a chance to build a board, so I went with Appaloosa here, and I can't play Lightning Storm because there's a field card. And here's the misplay, right? I kill here. I should have hit the defense mode monster. Then I have 8k to hit the 2700, and that would have been GG. So what was a 4-turn game turned into a 10-11 turn game because of that. Yeah. So huge misplay by me. Opponent goes for the Nibiru anyway. Notice Nibiru is based on the number of monsters, not the number of special summons. For example, summoning 4 number cards is considered 1 special summon, but it's considered 4 monsters for Nibiru versus 1 special summon for Max C. Anyways, the way I'm thinking about how my opponent can out me here is he can access code, but since he just popped 6 of his cards off of the prosperity, that's not happening. So he's trying everything he can to pop me with effects. So he tries to banish, doesn't work. Tries he tries both of the fusion dragons abilities. That bounce actually helped me a lot because it gave me an extra card to mulligan with, and I catched a kaiju. So I was thinking about kaijuing here, but since he got the feel, he got the fusion card, I didn't kaiju him here. I just hit the Nibiru. The other option my opponent could have done is, because I only have 2k 700 left, he could have pulled out something like Show, and then used this dragon's ability to give it 2000 attack, and then hit me for 5500 twice. He just has to do that twice. Even though he won't kill me the first time, he'll have a monster that has higher attack than me that I can't really do anything about. Not to mention he can keep recycling the changeover, so I guess that didn't come to mind. I don't know. So I guess running over me didn't come to mind, so yeah. I'm basically bricking him here, or I'm walling him here with the Megaclops. And he's trying to pop me with House's ability, and it's not working. And then he pops the Super Poly, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh wait, I'm Machine and Earth type, you can't really Super Poly me. So luckily, he goes with a shield. And here I thought I have exactly the damage to kill him with the Kaiju. And I'm short 100, and I'm just like, oh crap. Now I have to pull into another Kaiju, or I have to pull into Lava Golem or something. It's insane. So I go for the Max C here, hoping I can catch it, and then Max C gets Callbite, and I was like, oh crap. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna win, but there's a couple of caveats here. One is, eventually my opponent's gonna realize he can use the large kitchen dragon and just hit me. And the other thing is, Nurse's dragon, the Ernest, has a hand effect where it will negate a monster's ability. But I'm not sure if that is required. I'm not sure if that's an access requirement or what. But anyways, comes out with a show. He just pops out with 5 monsters here. It's insane. And it's funny because when I saw 5 monsters, I was thinking like, maybe he'll be able to do access code. Anyways, tries to bounce me, doesn't work. Brings out the house, brings out the kitchen, and kitchen brings out somebody else. And then I believe house's ability brings out something else. But you got 5 defense mode monsters here. It's just like, okay, you're gonna hard wall me, and I think he tries to return it here, and then realize it's not a Dragonmaid monster, so he can't return it, and then he surrenders. Because either I hit him and it ends, or I pass and it kills him in the standby phase. And the last one I want to show off is the Darklord one. I should have figured out this was the Darklord opponent because he's got the Darklord picture, but I think this was actually a pretty good duel here. Numerons technically is an FTK deck, but you gotta have some like backup you gotta have a backup plan in case it fails. Especially because everybody's really like, because Numeron's kind of predictable. People know like nowadays every deck wants to go first. So if you win the coin toss and you let your opponent go first, uh, they know there's some shenanigans. Um, anyways, comes out with Indulge Darklord. I don't know what it did, but it didn't make a difference to me, so I just inferned it. I believe this card, whenever I try to attack a Darklord, or a Dark Fairy type monster, it banishes a card from as protection. So here, I just get the Lightning Storm right out. I was considering just Mystical Space Typhooning, but then I'm like, nah. I dropped the Lava Golem. I'm trying to get a Kaiju here, and I don't. I get the Numeron Network, so I'm like, you know what? Uh, the reason I do this is because this guy has an ability where he changes everything's attack to 0, and no matter how many times I double up 0, it's gonna be 0. So Goddess of the Closed World. That's just to out my opponent's monster. But it turns out tries to special summon from the graveyard, and I just plays right into the goddess's ability. She's called the Goddess of the Closed World for a reason. I'm closing all of the graveyard plays basically. And then Ash right there, and he has no more plays left. So yeah, I just that's kind of when I start liking the card. I mean, I really like Underworld. I really like Underworld Goddess. I play her in the Rika deck because plants is very easy to swarm the field with. So that's good. Anyways, we're gonna end with a quick poll video on roids. Alright, we're gonna try to finish this off with some polls. I need a third machine duplication, and I'm interested in polling for roids, so that's what we're gonna do with the 1,000 gems I just got. I thought I only had one machine duplication, but it is what it is. So now I got 3, so I don't need any more machine duplication. The card I want is limiter removal. I mean, even though I'm playing cheese, this is actually pretty good. 7 and a UR. Even though I'm playing cheese with Numerons, having the limiter removal actually is very good. Is that a Madolche? It is. The Madolche UR. Oh, I almost skipped everything. Queen Tiramisu right there. That's nice. At least we get 2 URs here. I was expecting an SR there. That was weird. Because, like, it's yellow. Yellow pack, I guess, just has a higher chance of SR. It doesn't guarantee you an SR. Ooh, wow. Deck Devastating Virus. I think there's a Epidemic Virus. The one where it casts oh, wow. There's gotta be a UR here. Yep, that's the UR. Not the UR I wanted, but okay, fine. It's an in-archetype UR, so that's cool. I need an in-archetype UR, because that's what the limiter removal is here. Technically, I would like 2 versions of that, but, oh man, generic UR. Shield? Ooh, okay. Glossy Shield is not bad. I was hoping if it was going to be Shield, might as well be Royal. Stardust Synchron. Kind of an card. Wasn't expecting to get 3 URs. So technically I can disenchant all 3 and make the limiter removal, but going for the limited removal for Cyber Dragon and for wow, okay. That's cool. I was expecting the limiter. I was going for the limiter removal for the Cyber Dragon and the Numeron deck. But yeah, the idea is if you're gonna cheese, you might as well. Oh, let me get the machine duplication again. If you're gonna play cheese, you might as well perfect your cheese. Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping that would be a UR too. You gotta be shitting me. Oh my god. Okay, not quite what I wanted, but I guess I'll take what I can get. Alright, thank you guys all for watching. The Ultimate Chi signing out.